ask about it on the podcast to find out.
All right.
I posted it in the chat a while ago. You probably just didn't look.
I've had intermittent cell phone signals since Friday afternoon. People have been calling and texting and doing things. And I was in the wild again. Welcome to 311. Does that mean, oh my goodness, we're a band now?
Are they the amber? I was going to say, is amber the color of our energy? Is that them?
I think that's them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Dang.
So when are we gonna get our own cruise?
I mean, we can start planning it tomorrow. As far as I'm not going, but you guys can go. I don't think I'll ever get on a cruise. Ever. At this point. That's just
there are things I can say that I can defend cruising for, but I mean, you can also just not do it and go to those places, and that's also as good or better.
I don't think I have anything negative to say about cruising. I just don't want to be in the petri dish.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main issue there, I think.
I think the important thing is that, like, with cruises, the ship that has 10,000 people or 5,000 people or whatever is the worst one.
Mm-hmm.
All the good cruises are like way, way smaller, right?
Okay.
Oh, you take like a river cruise through Europe and there's like 80 people on the whole boat.
They're more
including
like
the captain and the staff. That stuff is where it's at, man.
I'm into that. Okay.
It's like it stops at some little village in France and you like go ride bikes in the village that day and that kind of stuff.
Well, we did not lose service because we were in France, unfortunately. We lost service because we were in the far reaches of Malibu/Ventura County at a campground. And Michael and I and some other people went camping.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Be mostly off the grid for a weekend.
Mostly, yeah.
I don't know what it was like by you guys, but it was maybe not the best possible week for that in terms of the weather.
No, it was nice and cool. We were right on the beach.
Okay, so maybe it worked out.
I think so. It was like 70s and fine the entire time, except for the roving band of Lord of the Flies squirrels assaulting everyone's campgrounds.
Hmm.
That was kind of interesting. Wait, I don't know, Michael. Maybe the most interesting part of camping was maybe what we should we list the chips for JJ and have him weigh in?
Sure.
Okay. Stop me if I miss one. JJ. In a box of mixed chips, individually served amongst a group of campers, if you had the flavors, Cool Ranch, nacho cheese, chili cheese, those are the Fritos. So the first two were Doritos, right?
Okay, yeah.
Then the second one is chili cheese. The third one's chili cheese Fritos. Sour cream and onion Lay's, barbecue Lay's, and I'm missing one. Cheetos. Yeah, Cheetos.
Cheetos regular, like
regular,
orange.
Standard Cheeto.
Okay.
Which would you think would be the last one left in the box?
If it was me eating all of them, or like, do I think everyone would eat?
In a group of people that are eating them communally.
Okay. Probably either the regular Cheetos or maybe maybe the barbecue?
Oh.
Okay. So you would have been the only person on the trip, JJ, to say the Cheetos. That was the only consensus, was that the Cheetos would not be last.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was the only one in the barbecue camp.
Yeah, I think so. It all comes down to how many people are you with, right? And like how varied are their tastes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you have a bunch of small kids and some older kids and then a whole group of very varied adults, it's like a decent chance it's like it could literally be anything because it's just like who with which taste showed up last to the box where there was only 2 left, right? But yeah, so like I guess my bias is showing. I just don't like barbecue potato chips, man. Just don't like them.
So
That's just not me.
2 things that made this kind of very interesting was the game theory of it. Actually, 3 things made this interesting. Michael remembers the third and is laughing about it right now. But the first 2 things that made it interesting was the game theory of 1, they were not evenly distributed.
Yeah, so that's the other thing, right? Like how many are in the box?
There were way less Fritos than there were Doritos. 2, we all took bets before anyone was allowed to take any.
Oh, wow.
So then you if you
got to work on paying yourself out, yeah.
You had to work against sometimes your better judgment of what you wanted to take from the box because you didn't want your last one not to be last. It didn't matter in the end. The squirrels chose for us.
Oh, R.I.P.
What was last? I don't remember. I think it was
regular Doritos.
Regular Doritos.
The very last thing.
Were the last thing left in the box.
Would you say regular? Which one is regular?
Nacho cheese.
Yeah. I'm also not a big... If you're going to make me choose between nacho cheese and Cool Ranch, 100 times out of 100, I'm picking Cool Ranch.
Interesting.
That's the right choice.
It was evenly split in the camp, I think, on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know that split exists, and so I would never bet one or the other. If you have more than like 3 people, you're going to get some Cool Ranch people, you're going to get some nacho cheese people, and those will both be fine. Because I think both of those are more popular than regular Cheetos or like maybe even regular Lay's.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of food, Michael, you've linked us something from heinz.co.uk. And you
always a good start.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Heinz, notable United Kingdom giant Heinz Corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the first thing that comes to mind when you guys think of Heinz? Just any
ketchup or 57.
Sure. Yeah. Those are both good answers. I guarantee you it will not be the first 6 links that you see when you open up this website.
What do you mean by links? Because all beans, sauces, pasta, soups, is that what you're talking about?
No, the big square rectangular pictures.
Oh, no.
That are links to recipes.
Why do they use a Z? That makes it worse. Oh, this is disgusting.
I want to die.
Oh my God. They put the vegan one first. Heinz ketchup creams with a Z, vegan. Heinz ketchup creams with a Z. Heinz salad creams, oh God, with fruit on top. Heinz saucy sauce.
These are recipes for ice cream. This is awful. What the hell?
Mayo ice cream.
Salad cream ice cream? No one wants that. No one wants salad cream to start with. That's horrible.
This ice cream literally has mayonnaise in it. This can't be good. This can't be good. Ketchup ice cream? Maybe ketchup ice cream. What
barbecue sauce ice cream?
What is salad ice cream? You don't want that? What is salad cream? What is Heinz salad cream?
Wait, you don't know what salad cream is? Hold on, let's stop this podcast first and talk about something that's more important. So you actually don't know what that is, Andrew?
What is salad cream?
It's like mayonnaise substitute that's like meant as a salad dressing.
Okay.
It's a British thing, I guess, firstly. I know it as a British thing.
Okay.
But like it is a thing that shows up in random recipes and you use it as like a slightly different flavored mayonnaise substitute. It's literally like you put this cream all over your salad and then toss the salad in it. Now it has, there you go, salad.
Yeah, so instead of it's JJ's right, it's almost mayonnaise. It's a mixture of oil and water, and then you emulsify that with an egg yolk like you were making mayonnaise, and then I think you add a little bit of vinegar.
But there's mayonnaise made out of just oil. So what's the difference between oil, water, and egg yolk, and oil and water, or oil and egg yolk, or you know what I mean? Like
This one,
I think just the consistency. I think
this one is salad cream and the other one is mayo.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
okay, I'm not happy with the color of this. This is like
Don't scroll farther down. That barbecue sauce one does not look
It
good.
looks like mustard. They put that with strawberries on top of it. Is this
all
the theory?
fruit salad, Andy.
Oh God! Is this the theory that double cream, condensed milk, and whole milk will be sugary and fatty enough that you won't taste the other thing, and it's like a novelty, or is it
That's
just
got to be the idea.
because the ketchup will definitely taste like ketchup?
Keep saying barbecue sauce. I can't.
I physically can't process trying to eat ice cream that tastes like barbecue sauce.
Me
So
either, dude. This is why I'm losing it over here.
I'm trying to ignore it. I mean, why
gazed
do
into
this?
the abyss and it stared back. I don't like it.
Why do this and not just be like Worcestershire ice cream, guys?
I mean, maybe you are at some level. I don't know. This is
They got 51 other flavors to play with.
Yeah, A1 flavor. Oh my God. There's like, oh God, don't keep going. There's a mayonnaise Easter chocolate cake.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good either.
Mayo brownies. Why do you need mayo in a brownie?
So
This entire website is a crime.
I can understand using mayo in a chocolate cake or in brownies in place of the oil.
Look, court convened, court convicted. This entire website is a crime.
I think the one that says put ketchup on your hamburger might be the only part that's okay.
Fine.
There are a few, but if you keep going, banana mayo muffins.
No. Stop it.
Yeah, no. I think I understand what they're doing here, right? The mayo is like 98% oil. So if a thing says add oil and you put mayo instead, it's like, I think mostly the same, right? Especially if there's then also eggs. But so you're really just there.
Oil is also shelf stable. And again, ice cream is the problem here.
I'm just saying the chemistry probably works out.
Fine.
I don't know that it's like any good tasting. I can't imagine it is.
The barbecue puts it over the top.
I really can't with the barbecue one.
Barbecue puts it over the top. Since we're in
also, like,
Europe,
do you want ketchup flavored ice cream either? That doesn't sound good.
No. There's a novelty that I'd try once, maybe, but I doubt it. Okay, we're all agreed that it's a crime?
Yeah.
Crime. Okay, since we're in Europe already, let's just jog over to Spain, where they did some things right.
Kinda.
JJ?
Yes,
do you not have to say that this week was a boring week?
I mean, there was a lot of drama. I don't know how much of it was because the actual racing was any good, but certainly the drama kept up, and that part is good.
Yeah. There's now spoilers, I guess. People sometimes don't watch these things. I barely did before the podcast, due to what we'll talk about next. F1 happened. Verstappen. I'm gonna wait for you. Let pause. Okay, that's it. That's the last one. Verstappen wins again. Continuing the trend that if they finish, they win.
Yep.
But also, did he really win or did Charles lose?
I'm not certain. I would love to know the answer to that because, he had a malfunctioning car.
The thing that I read earlier today or late last night or whenever it was that the turbo and MGUH in his engine had issues.
Oh, well, I mean, Verstappen also had a malfunctioning car.
Yeah.
Michael, in order to pass in F1 these days, since all the cars are so close together, you really can't build up enough speed in most cases to get a pass going. It's okay. I don't know that it's controversial, but a lot of people want it gone and some people love it. there's a system called DRS, which is a drag reduction system. And essentially, when you're in a place that the race people deem a good place to pass, you get this drag reduction system to automatically engage, and you get extra boost to your speed to hopefully get a pass going. Verstappen's car DRS flap was intermittently just not opening.
Oh, that's a problem.
The crucial thing to understand about DRS is it's not like, oh, it unlocks like 8th gear or whatever in your engine. No, it's a physical piece of the car that moves into a different position and is then less draggy or whatever, and you get more speed out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an aileron.
It's an aileron, exactly. Yes, it is on the wing of the car on the back. Yes. So
whatever the component is, whatever the component is that pulls that little flap open, I guess they had worked on or done something or whatever, and it just like sometimes worked and sometimes not.
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah, oops is right. Again, so then the Ferrari people had problems as well. One of their lead cars went out of the race.
It's like he's driving all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden he's getting passed by like 3 people, and he's like yelling on the radio, "No, what happened?" And it's like, well, you need to bring this car back to the pits. It's bad.
Yeah, it's all over, buddy. The big news, I guess, was that Mercedes seems to have fixed their problems. They're finally running up the top of the pack, although they were not able to keep up with Red Bull still.
Yeah.
In a meaningful way. I mean, Russell raced for a little while, and both you and I, while having watched the race separately, did the Leo DiCaprio scream at the screen, "That's weaving."
Yeah.
Michael, you are allowed to make one defensive move in F1 when someone is trying to pass you.
Okay.
You're not allowed to weave back and forth.
You can't traffic brake them.
Or you can't like weave out, right? If we're going through a corner and I push out of my line to a wider line, then I have to take the wider line into the corner. I can't keep weaving out of the line to a wider and wider and wider line to push you off the track.
Okay. The rules are that you can make one move and then you can head back to the racing line, which is like the agreed upon shortest route path through the course or whatever. And so you can get really tricky with it where like you make a move to the left and that's off the line. And so then the person tries to go around you to the right, but the racing line now is to the right. And so now I'm moving back to the racing line. See,
so it doesn't count as a second move.
Totally fine, guys. But then like that only works if like the corner is right there, right? If it's still on a straight and you're doing this and moving back, now you are weaving, and that's a no penalty.
From both Mercedes drivers, there were, I would say, auditable versions from a little bit bad to wow, that's just straight up weaving. All of which went uncalled.
I think you're talking about the Hamilton one where he hit Magnussen.
Yeah, I watched it. If you're a Hamilton fan, you'll disagree with me and you'll say he was doing just fine.
It felt pretty marginal on both sides. It's like Kevin was pretty aggressive. He could have gone a little farther around the corner.
I absolutely agree. I think there was 2 cars wheel to wheel. He made the assumption that Hamilton would tuck into the corner tight.
Right. And Hamilton went a little bit farther out.
Hamilton chose to try to push Magnussen out of the corner by going wider in the racing line. And then they bump,
Yeah.
So
like I said, it's hard to know with that one.
It looked like, well, Haas continues to fall to the back.
I think the stewards made the correct call in calling it a racing incident and not penalizing anyone.
I think it doesn't matter if it's a racing incident or not, right? It's the first lap.
Oh, you can get penalties on the first lap. You can get penalties on the first corner. You can get penalties on the start for false starting. Like they can give you penalty for anything, man. They are fine with it. The thing is that like in this instance, it's like to get a penalty, you have to like be able to fully assign blame. And it's like, it's kind of some on both sides here. I don't know who's right or wrong 100%. So, do we want to just like give someone a point on their license for this? Nah.
Yeah.
But the weaving one is more egregious, I felt.
I think the meta stuff is where it gets into like, you didn't. I mean, watching the race is still watching the race and they're fun, but like the meta of, okay, Verstappen's now in the lead by 6 points, Red Bull's now in the lead by 10. All that stuff. The flip flop of that made this one somewhat interesting.
And again, like that would not have happened if Leclerc had finished the race, right? He would have been first. Verstappen would not have gotten as many points.
Yeah, it'd still be tight.
Just status quo, hopefully. Right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. I didn't get to watch it I had to watch it on spurts, like back in, it was fast forwarding a little bit and getting through it as fast as possible because time over here has run short. Can we do an adulting minute first?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we talked about the washer and its degradation. Some advice from friend of the pod, Min, who probably doesn't listen, but I'm going to shout him out anyway. Got me to multimetering the correct parts to understand what was wrong. The multimeter and an unfortunate electrocution while using so tell me that all the electronics are fine.
The motor's still okay? That's
the motor,
the thing that goes.
So that is the motor is dead. Yeah. Because if power is going all the way through all the harnessing to the motor, which we read some 70 volts there today, it's got to be working, or it's got to be the motor, right?
Yeah.
The motors are too expensive to invest in for a 15-year-old washer, so thank goodness it happened. Marcus Aurelius would say that look at that. You could say for every problem, thank goodness this happened to me now, right? And thank goodness it happened now because it's Memorial Day, and the adulting moment here is, hey, it's a good time to buy appliances.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be getting a new washing machine. I think we're going to end up tacking on a new dishwasher as well, Michael.
Oh, yeah?
Michael, having frequented the use of the current dishwasher, will know that you can pull apart most of it with your hands because it's rusting.
Not a great look.
No, the current dishwasher is not a great look in general at all. So we'll probably replace that also during the festival of appliance sales that usually happen at this time of year.
Tis the season.
Tis the season, yeah. We kind of tried to put together a huge list of house things now that things have calmed down, and number one on the list was fixing a problem with the pool, and chasing plumbing problems is, let's say if you don't know what you want to do in your life, go to plumbing school and charge by the hour.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Because even if you're doing it all right, the amount of time to figure out a problem can be extremely long. So the house issues are continuing to pile up. We'll see what the pool problems end up being. There's a lot of air coming into the system, and a good hour's worth of work has proved fruitless in solving that problem. So we'll see what happens next with that. I wish it gave me time to do things like watch F1 or set up this PS5 that's still sitting here. Because speaking of PS5s, I want to know, are you excited to weigh into the newest fanboy flame war between PS Plus Premium Extra Download Edition new, or do you want to fight back with the Xbox Game Pass, or do you want to just throw a firebomb into the middle of both groups like Kotaku.com? For people that haven't seen, Kotaku wrote an article that said, due to the declining subscriber numbers, which I haven't seen significant subscriber decline numbers, but maybe they're there. I don't know. that everyone was tired of Game Pass and fatigue has set in. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like on this podcast I've kind of said I would just stick with it. I mean, it seems like a good, I don't know, thing, I guess. It seems like a good thing. I don't know that I mean, from 2020 to 2021, their numbers are up quite a bit. You got to kind of take that into account. I don't see why I'd be running away there. I think their point was that there are no AAA games, and JJ, you had a take on that, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about it since we only talked about it a little bit in chat. So, go
Sure.
if you had thoughts.
So I think, I don't. First off, I don't think I share this opinion, but I can see that there is some sort of a person, right, who is like, I want to play big AAA games, right? I want to play Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Game Pass is going to give me all these free games. Awesome. They sign up. It's like, okay, where are the games that this person likes, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Game Pass has some of those games, right? But it's not like a bunch of them are coming out all the time. You get them sort of, whenever, like every 3 years or whenever one of those kinds of game releases.
Yeah.
And that's not probably enough to make it worth staying subscribed to that service.
I guess.
As opposed to subscribing for 2 months when the big game comes out that you want and then unsubscribing again.
Absolutely. I think you could make the argument that that is the way of the future. However, Netflix is seeing a huge subscriber loss for that reason, right? They're finally getting to the point they're like, okay, I only want to watch 4 things. So I'll subscribe at the end of the year for a couple months and watch it through, And because there are more and more and more subscribing services, I think a lot of people have that idea. I think what irked me a little bit about this is it wasn't really news. It was just taking influencer jokes and Twitter polls to say that people were dropping off. They didn't really wait for numbers, right? Like the last numbers from Xbox are that 25 million people are subscribed.
So I think the other thing is the companies don't release real numbers anyway.
Yeah.
Like Microsoft is never going to tell you how many people are actually subscribed and how much money they make on Game Pass.
Well, I mean,
just like Netflix doesn't tell you how many times people actually watch a thing.
Well, they need to publicly declare something because they are a public company.
Yeah, but they could just publicly declare our revenue was this amount. See you guys, and then tell you nothing.
Yeah,
right.
I guess
they don't tell you how many Xboxes they've sold.
Okay.
So that's an important metric. Let's say if you are someone trying to evaluate, how big is this platform, how much, what's going on. But I think the clip at which Microsoft releases big budget games, right, is not that high. Like they've bought a bunch of studios in recent years
in order to up that clip, probably.
Right? But none of those games have come out yet since those purchases, right?
In general, though, I think both major companies are seeing that because of the pandemic delays and all that sort of stuff. It's not.
I'm not trying to say it's like one-sided on Microsoft's side here. It's the same on Sony's side, but Sony is, they're starting to advertise this PS Plus service, which looks like friggin' terrible value also.
I mean, if you are a new PS5 owner that has not played these games that are listed here, again, it seems like a fantastic value for a few months.
Right.
And then, you'll see if you end up like the Xbox people that want to unsubscribe until Starfield comes out.
Because I think, so the other thing, though, is PlayStation has specifically said their brand new stuff isn't coming to their game service thing. So when they release Last of Us 3 or whatever the next big crazy AAA thing that they put out is, God of War, whatever, it won't be on their service. You have to buy the game.
Oh.
So, in that respect, then this thing is just a back catalog of games. And there are lots of great back catalog games. I'm sure people that haven't played them spend $10 more and go, like you said, for a few months, go play it.
Yeah.
Great. But like, in the Game Pass thing is like, well, I also have a giant back catalog of games that I've never played. It's called my Steam library, where I have like tons of games I've never touched, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to pay $5 a month to play other games that I won't touch?
I guess so. For me, it's like things like Forza Horizon or Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy that I no longer need to buy. You know?
Totally.
And eventually, if I get to them, I get to them. I think I don't know. I think that there is definitely a subsect of people like myself that end up with a valued service here, and I did prepay for some things, and I think I understand people that don't find it a valued service.
I just think it's there are probably people who are like, the game I really love, Doom. I loved playing Doom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that last Doom game came out several years ago now. There's probably not going to be another one of those for a few more years.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to stay subscribed to this service when the thing that I really loved was just Doom?
No.
Right?
No.
And
like, you played them all. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then, on the flip side, people that are like eagerly awaiting Starfield, well, Starfield just got delayed, right? Do I need to stay subscribed to this service that I was going to use to play Starfield now?
Sure.
Right. But if and then I'm sure there are many, many people, I would guess the majority probably, are people like you, Andrew, who it's like, I'm never going to pay for this Forza Horizon game, but I could play it for 10 minutes and see how this goes. This is fun.
Yeah. Or, you guys are you talked up Guardians of the Galaxy. I probably wouldn't have bought it near any time soon, but now it's available. Eiuden's available, stuff like that. So I don't know. I think the article was not well designed, but the conversation could be had, right? Like, is it still a good value? Let's look into actually what's here. But I think maybe once you get into the meat of that article, it's a little bit more.
I don't know. I didn't really read the article. The journalism is like questionable on that website sometimes, but I think the important thing, I think, is like to get value out of Game Pass, you need to have a wide array of things that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
Right. If you're looking for a small certain type of game, like if you are the guy or the girl or the person who's like, RPGs are what I want, Game Pass maybe isn't the service for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like there are probably some on there, I'm sure.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, but it's not the same value proposition, right? As a person who just sort of wants to dabble in a bunch of things until they find something that they like and they're not picky.
Exactly. If you're willing to try a whole bunch of things for 10 minutes, this is like the best possible service in the world. If you really want,
Builders 2 is on here.
Yeah, sure. It's RPG-ish. It's like a Minecraft kind of game.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to dabble, in like, oh, what is this? Maybe I'll try it out. Maybe it's cool.
Yeah.
If you're like, I want to play Elder Scrolls games, like, you don't need Game Pass, dude. Just go play the Elder Scrolls games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, you were playing Astria Ascending, right?
I have not started it.
Oh, okay. That's on there too. So I was gonna install it if you had started it. Anyway, I wish Bloomberg had written this article.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
And that it wasn't based on Twitter is what I'm saying. Huh. All right. I think I agree with all the points you made.
Yeah, and I think, Andrew, when you get like 10 minutes, you should just run run the benchmark, man. Just to like let your graphics card stretch its legs,
I've literally been overwhelmed. I've been too overwhelmed to try the other Game Pass game, Eiyuden Rising. Tell me more, because I can't wait to try.
So I think Michael and I both played some of this weekend. I think Michael's farther than me now.
Yeah, I managed to squeeze in a little bit yesterday and a little bit today.
How'd you have the time? I can't unpack from camping that fast. It takes me like 2 days.
I mean, you've got how many more times the stuff that we do?
and at least 2 times the people involved,
Yeah.
Yeah. And we pretty much came home. You guys had more stops.
Yeah, we had to go to a little birthday shindig on the way home, smelling ripe as rain.
Nice. But so I know like we talked a little bit about it, but I think Michael's gotten pretty deep in at this point, and I'm like not too far behind him, I think.
Yeah, I'm in probably one of the last areas, just based on filling up the entire page of fast travel locations. Unless there's
what level are you these days?
What level am I? I got the achievement for hitting level 30, so I think I'm 32, 33-ish.
Okay, you're a few levels ahead of me then. I think I'm like 28 or 29.
So I have been playing since 1920-ish with the experience boost from the inn. And every time you upgrade the inn, you get a higher level of boost. So right now I gain 15% more experience.
Oh, he played that macro econ game on you, buddy.
Yeah, he did. He did for sure. I've been using that boost since you talked to me about it the other day, like earlier last week or whenever it was.
Yeah.
But I think my inn right now maxes out at 10%. And I haven't gone, like, since I got that level, I haven't gotten like another big round of quests. You know what I mean?
You're pretty close.
Okay. So I think maybe I'll be able to get up into the 30s once that happens. I just it's always like, oh, I have like one quest here or one quest there or whatever. I haven't gotten like another one where it just unlocks a whole grip of quests across all the stores or whatever.
Yeah. Because I think you got through the volcano.
I did the snow area. I'm in the volcano for sure. Did I fight the boss?
The giant worm with the magic girl?
Yeah, I did do that.
Okay, then yeah, in the context of completing the next like chapter or two of the main story, you'll get a whole bunch of quests.
Yeah, so I just need to like press on.
But it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah. What are you doing for your like runes and magic stuff these days?
I tend to swap them in depending on the zone I'm in, unless I'm over leveled, and then it doesn't matter.
Right.
So right now I've been running most recently the ice stuff to get through the volcano part 2.
So I think my my problem here has been that I have been lazy and not willing to swap that stuff as I go to the different like zones.
Uh-huh.
So I've had like, I'd have like each person with one, right? I was like, CJ has ice or earth, and Guru has the other one, and then the girl,
Isha,
and Isha has lightning, right? And then you always end up wanting to use the character that's way more effective then, right? Because they're getting like bonus damage in whatever biome it is.
Yep.
That's probably me not doing a good job. I should like unlazy myself and go into that menu and swap those things out. It would probably solve some issues.
Yeah. So for me, I've always given because I don't have enough level 3 lenses to give one to everybody. I've given the highest one to CJ because she has the highest hit count.
Yeah. So I've always given the highest one to her because she has the most attacks also. Like her combo seems to be the highest.
Yep.
Maybe that changes with more levels on the other characters. I don't know, or more upgrades.
Not that I've seen. Everyone's hit count increases, but she stays ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm mostly in level 2 lenses. I don't think I have any level 3 lenses yet, or maybe I have one. I think I have one.
Yeah, you probably have one.
Anyway, so that's I like I said, I'm getting lazy. I think it's like I found the game very easy for a long time. And so then I was just like, I don't need it. It's fine. I can just mash X more times and it'll be fine. But I think it's like I finally outlived the easiness of that. And like I now need to like be actually trying to combo the enemies and actually like using the correct elements if I want to maintain the level of chill that I'm having.
Yeah, your first foray into the volcano is rough when they introduce the burn mechanic.
That is, God, I hate that stupid thing, man. God, rage.
Is it what it sounds like?
It is what it sounds like. It inflicts burn damage, so but it also locks you into whatever character you have on screen until the burn damage effect wears off.
Oof.
Damage over time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And the damage itself isn't that big a deal. Like the burn damage is kind of inconsequential, but locking you into the one character is awful. Especially since this game is all about like switching between the attacks between the three characters.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you're mid combo and you get hit with burn in the middle of the air and you're on like Garou, you're just like, oh no. And you just like fall to the ground. Because like the other two characters have like air dashes and air hovers and things like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he's kind of the like ground based character that has like a parry and stuff. And you're like, well, now it's not so bad. But the burn is really, really annoying. It's like, especially if it knocks you out of your like chain combo or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Nice. I'm enthralled. I gotta make time. I just gotta make time.
You'll enjoy this one whenever you've got the time to fire it up.
I gotta do it. Yeah. I can't let this be Final Fantasy 12 again, which I hope to someday remedy. Speaking of RPGs, and let's get a little more. Which direction Japanese are we getting here, JJ?
This game is also
both
pretty
Japanese, and
yeah. I would say this is more tactical. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I finally finished Triangle Strategy. I've been playing it like here and there in the background.
Congratulations, buddy.
Yes, I got to the end. Man, I will say I like that game generally. I think it has a fun story and the characters are varied enough that the tactical decisions are interesting. I don't think the characters get a lot of character development. Other than like what happens to them over the course of the story, but like the characters don't have personal arcs that aren't like the arc of the story, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, there's no like B plot and C plot here. It's like all A plot, right? But for what that is, it is fun, and the tactics battles are relatively difficult and like fun. Like I had characters die like every battle at some point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the downside of all of this is like, this game wants you to be doing grinding. I did not appreciate that.
You did not want to be doing the grinding.
I mean, maybe if I'm some kind of like tactics god, I could have enough levels at the end of every fight such that all my characters are exactly ready at the next level to go on to the next fight. Mm-hmm. But I never found that to be the case. And, because the next fight is always like 2 or 3 levels higher than the previous one. And like maybe you gain 1 level during that last fight. Well, now you're still 2 below, right?
Right.
Yeah. And they have conveniently unlocked a battle in like a practice battle in the tavern for you.
Oh,
it's that it's the level you need, but you got to go do that new map over there, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, I don't. And it's just like random enemies and random compositions of enemies on random arenas, and they're not actually random. They're all set, right? To be fair, like it's the set group of enemies on this set arena every time. But it's just like, whatever, like, I want to go on now. I'm done. Like,
what if I just don't?
Yeah. And then to make matters worse, the ending path that I chose really gave me some really tough battles with units I had not been using. And so it's like, well, you better before you go to this battle, which is recommended level, 27 or something, you better do some grinding because this guy's level 9, right? And, thankfully, when you go into those higher ranked, like practice battles or whatever, if that guy literally breathes, it's like gain a level.
Oh,
right. It's like that guy took a step forward and performed any action whatsoever. You gain a level. And like, it'll work like that every single turn of that guy's turn.
Uh-huh.
But he's also level 9. And if a stiff wind blows, he's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you're getting 2 levels of battle and you need to get to 30 or whatever. And you're like a 10. It's like, oh my God, what a hassle. And so like that stuff sucked. I was not super happy about that aspect of it. But overall, it was a pretty, like I said, I enjoyed the tactics aspect of it. It was just really, it got to be a pretty big slog there.
So lower on your list.
I liked Final Fantasy Tactics more.
Okay.
If I have to rank them, right?
All right.
Final Fantasy Tactics is also like a much longer game than this. And to be fair, this game has a lot more branching paths. Like I only played through it once, but I know because the game tells you, like, here's the path you took to get to this ending. Here are points where you could have taken different paths.
Oh, interesting.
And when you start a new game plus, it will reveal to you, like, this is a decision point. These decisions go into what, like, do you want to sway your points towards this other thing and do this other option? Like, it reveals a lot of that information to make it really easy for you to recruit new characters. Like, oh, hey, this character cares about these statistics. Oh, okay. Like, I can just level these up and there you go. Now I'm going to get this other character I didn't have before. Mm-hmm. And if you want to make a different decision and go down a different path, right? Like some of them are super obvious, right? It's like, do you want to go to this place or this place? And they let you pick. Well, it turns out you can pick both and they go different places, right? And then other ones are like less obvious based on what you choose and how people vote and all that stuff. But you can weight the scales a little bit and try and go a different direction if you play again. And you carry over your levels and your characters and that stuff. So, they new game plus it in that way that, the tactics end of it stays difficult in a new game plus. I don't think I'm going to do that, but it does have more replayability than something like Final Fantasy Tactics does in that way.
All right. Can we go from talking about triangles to talking about circles?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. There's a little blue man, and he runs around maps, and he really loves picking up things shaped like a circle. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Does he gotta go fast?
He has gotta go fast and eat chili dogs. I watched the Sonic movie, the first one. I assume
did the chili dogs thing come? Where did that come from?
The TV show, maybe?
I think so. It was definitely
maybe a comic
thing in the TV show.
Might have been a comic book. I think it might have been a comic book. Now that I'm thinking of it now, because I've heard this said out loud before. I don't think it came from the TV show. I could look it up and care, but yeah, you know what? Shout us out if you know. I'm pretty sure it's a comic book that did it. Anyway, moving on. He does say, I gotta go fast, but not in a context that you're like groaning about. So that was good. They call him Blue Devil a lot. They never say Blue Bomber though. So interesting.
The Blue Bomber is Mega Man, so I think it's fine.
Yep, that's a mistake. I'm gonna have to live with that one. Blue Devil.
They probably own both of those IPs or whatever, so they could have just done it. And it,
That's true. Good point. It's just a popcorn movie, guys. It's fine. If you're into like just sort of like filler film, it's good. It's fine.
What level of chewing scenery and or hamming it up is Jim Carrey doing here?
Can I say something in my opinion that is all honesty? As much as I can make it. That guy gives every inch of his acting ability to try and make Robotnik an interesting character. I found him to be an enjoyable part of the film.
That's what I wanted to know. See, this is why you answered fairly. Like I'm not, I don't want to disparage the man.
No,
if he did well, I just don't. I think I saw a trailer for that movie, and it's really all I ever saw of it.
Sure,
and it just looked so goofy.
But
he's also
goofy.
So goofy sometimes,
Yeah,
it's real goofy. and they make the character's history very goofy. And so when he acts weird and crazy, he just is, right? Like, and there's some really great funny lines that come out of him just being able to be wacky.
Okay.
Which I thought good. I laughed out loud at there's one about coffee, I'll say. And I laughed out loud, literally. James Marsden just sort of lets the movie happen to him. And Sonic is annoying, but you expect him to be annoying, so it's not actually that annoying.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It was fine. It's fine enough that I will, out of curiosity, watch the second one.
I think I've heard anecdotally that kids like that Sonic movie.
I could understand that entirely, because I'm sure that the way that Sonic is acted connects just fine with kids. You can't think about it very hard. It's definitely a kids movie.
Right.
But I did actually enjoy, Sonic's from another planet kind of thing. And the rings and why he has to collect the rings is, I'll just tell you, it's a spoiler. The rings connect you to different worlds. If you throw a ring and think about where you want to go, it'll take you there. So even within your own world or whatever.
That gets teased in one of the trailers.
Oh, okay. There you go. I don't watch trailers, so it's enjoyable as an idea, I thought. There you go. That's my review of Sonic.
Alrighty then.
Let's talk about other media for the last little bit here. Y'all keep talking about books instead of movies and making me feel like I'm some sort of uneducated heathen. What is this about, this book thing you're going back and forth about in chat? I gotta know what's going
on. Michael,
I think we've talked several times before on the very quickly upcoming last hurrah of the Dragonlance series of novels.
Yay.
And yeah, they just dropped, I guess over the weekend, they just dropped the cover art for the first book in the new trilogy. And it is a glorious throwback to the very first trilogy.
Okay. What is glorious?
So in the original trilogy, they had all three of the books were a dragon in profile in the background, and then three of the characters from the story standing in front of it. Okay. And for each of the three books, it was a different dragon, different color dragon, and a different set of three characters.
Okay.
And so they have recreated that image with characters from the new story.
That's cool. So it's a hey you fans moment.
It's definitely an if you know you know.
And they published the book jacket, right? Like here's for the hard paper back edition, right? Or sorry, hardback edition.
Okay.
So it has the flaps on the edge to wrap around the cover and everything. So you get your little story flavor in there, and the full art, that wraps all the way around the spine onto the back. The about the authors on the other back flap there. And it is just like the most like, here is a fantasy painting with a dragon and a dwarf. I assume that's a kender and then a I don't know here in the middle. Is this a human?
Probably it's probably the main character who's a human.
Always got to be a human.
She might be short for a human, and so then that's what's throwing me off. Or the dwarf is tall also.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Michael and I have talked about these on this podcast before. We read a lot of these books as younger gentlemen, and it's cool that the like two main authors are back to do more of it.
Yeah, I wonder did an original artist from the series make this?
I was looking very closely to see if I could tell if it was by Larry Elmore.
Larry Elmore.
Larry Elmore did those original 3 covers.
Oh.
But I couldn't see his like name written in the the artist area or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know who it is.
The man's famous. Done a lot of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, Larry Elmore. Like some of the like iconic. If you go, look at like famous Larry Elmore paintings and art.
Yeah,
you will find ones that are of Dragonlance characters.
I'm pretty sure. Did Elmore also do magic cards?
No, I don't know that he ever did magic.
Okay. I'm trying to remember where else I've seen him. I know I've seen Dungeons and Dragons stuff that he did.
Yeah, but, I mean, you've seen it. Like, if you've seen fantasy stuff, his stuff is all over it, like at some level.
Is he still alive? He's still got to still be alive, right?
He is still alive.
He is.
I watched a documentary that they interviewed him about for they were talking about what was it? Like the early years of D&D and stuff like that.
Okay.
And because he was there doing art for them, they interviewed him. And he's an old man, but he is still with us.
He's a spry 73.
Oh, you looked it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, awesome. I'm sure people have comments about lots of the things we talked about. Maybe that Sonic movie. I'm not necessarily recommending it. I'm just saying it wasn't. I had trepidation and I tried not to find out anything about it, and I still enjoyed it. That's my only review. Enjoyed lightly, not enjoyed deeply. Like, I rewatched Blade Runner 2049 and I enjoy that deeply. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
like every frame of that movie I stop and look at sometimes. Just like, ooh, look at this framing. Look at that thing. What a good movie. Wow.
And you know what movie's also good?
Yeah.
That Dune movie's pretty good.
Same director, buddy.
I know. I watched a video about like people have been complaining recently that like, man, these Marvel movies really have bad special effects. And then this person was like, do you want to see good special effects? Look at this, Dune. And do you want to see how it's good? Look how the lighting works. Look how all this stuff. Anyway,
the early Marvel movies, they just are what they are. You're gonna have to live with it. You know what I mean?
Dude, these are brand new ones, man. Ones that came out very recently.
My problem with some of this more recent stuff is we don't want to spend a lot of money to make stuff look good, so everything is blurry during action.
And they don't spend the time to light the characters appropriate with what's happening in the scene. And that really ruins, like, it makes stuff that's CG'd so obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens.
Like if there's an explosion behind someone, the character's face is not in shadow. It's just like full on bright facing light. And you're like, this is not how light works. And then, you just know, right?
Let me tell you, you shouldn't watch the DC movies that we watched already.
Look, I watch them anyway, and I know I just then go, oh, special effects shot, okay. Whereas when I was watching Dune, it's like, dude, how many of these explosions are real? I don't know.
You can't tell.
And the answer is none of them. But
yeah, let's say there's an explosion in Sonic, and there's a fire. There's some fire afterwards on the ground. I should take a screenshot of that and say, here's exactly what's wrong with digital effects and why, and at every opportunity you should try to do things practically. Yeah, the special effects in Sonic are at times very bad. But hey, they were willing to spend money to redo that character, so that's why they got me to watch it.
I bet that if they had not redone that character, that movie would have made $0.
Oh, sure. I mean, just the hype alone from the character drama got them money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, if you got opinions, which I'm sure people do, about any of that,
you can send those to podcast@wewergamers.com. Please tell us your opinions about the Sonic movie, Sonic 2, Electric Boogaloo, and whatever other stuff we should check out there. We are also on the internet at We Were Gamers on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and find us on YouTube. Search for We Were Gamers, all one word, and hit that like and subscribe.
Oh, I didn't even talk about the Warzone event. Oh, well. It's not that big a deal, I guess. Godzilla and Kong showed up.
Ah, the one you were waiting for.
Yeah. There's a lot of online hate about it, so maybe people don't care. I don't mind it that much. It's just not that deep of a mode, I guess.
I'm kind of glad that you had not seen that link earlier, because the reactions were definitely worth the wait.
I have been so overwhelmingly busy today with the house stuff. Like I didn't want to play it up as if it's a major disaster because other people go through worse, but like the situation with the pool is borderline a big problem.
Yeah.
Like likely jackhammering up concrete and possibly needing to like empty the pool.
Ah, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, and like the washer and we were gonna do canned lighting today. We didn't even get to start it. It's just a mess. But it is what it is, and there's nothing else that can be done other than to just fix it.
Yep. Keep tackling problems.
Yeah, I mean it's 2022. If we have to tamp down a few small problems in 2022 after how many years of living here and not having any major problems since the first couple years, I guess it's okay.
Pretty good run.
That washer though, dude, that dishwasher is like so far.
It needs to go
so far beyond its last leg. I want to just be like, you know what? Let's solve this one before it happens.